Russia has done, his economy is going to tank. Things are going to get even worse. And so if Russia was already holding #1 status in terms of suicide rates in the world, it is about to stay #1, like by a milestone, by a landslide. It is no wonder, therefore, that South Africa is following closely behind at #2. We have a misogynistic spirit, a megalomaniac, controlling, like entitled spirit that is running our presidents. And these presidents are running our countries, of course, into the ground. And the citizens on the ground are trying to, in the spirit of patriotism, stand with a leader that is literally cursing the country as he walks every day. They're all a curse, a law unto themselves. And those of you that stand firmly behind men and women that are destroying your lands will die with them. The ANC, frankly, needs to be decimated from within. It needs to die. It needs to be blown up. But that's not going to happen because you're standing by your black president unto South Africa. So die with your president, be cursed with him. Literally decimate yourselves from within. Continue as news anchors to try and make a messed up president look good. Carry on. I'm going to make you listen to this clip and help you cringe on your own. I will say nothing, but I'll let you listen to it from the point that I have recorded it. Not recorded it, sorry, from the point that I have stopped it all the way to the end. We're all born the discomfort of this white woman from Ukraine and the pomp and the arrogance of this reporter from South Africa, this news anchor from South Africa, literally trying to make us look good in the face of what is obviously wrong policy decisions being made by our nation pertaining a war in the world that is absolutely unnecessary. Listen to this and tell me if South Africa is not cursed. If you still stand by your sticky nastiness. And as for Barbara Lindosi, whatnot. If my mother repents, great. Whoever repents, you will grab them and flee with them alone. You will be like Lot and his family. You will be like Noah and his family who gets in the ark. Anybody at all else that sticks to their guns, you will be thrown into tribulation. You will be thrown into a cataclysmic era, and it'll be over with Gawena. I'm kind of hoping to flee out of the situation with my mom, with my sister, with my family, from a country that made people crazy, and go somewhere else. Spoom, just us, Lot and his family. Noah and his family, and the rest of y'all burn. Perhaps maybe my mother will think differently when she's in another country. She's busy killing her own child because she's living in a nation where the president is pushing the femicide on the ground in however different ways. You can literally apply the same principles that he is employing in the nation on so many other different topics. So many other different topics. If my mom's repentance is genuine right now, it's hers and hers only. It's what you must understand. If my mother's coming around, it's coming around. It's literally because I am in this environment. And you know how I made the example earlier with Ricky Rick, and I said nobody rocked up to rescue him. There was no Christian that was working very fervently in order that he might get snatched out from the flames of hell. Well, guess what? My family has a Christian. It's me. And so if my mom repents, I'm leaving with them wherever it is that I'm going. But as for you, South Africa, proper, I'm taking my people, I'm leaving with them that they might recover from an environment where the president is not actively proliferating and extending the suicide of a country. I will leave with my people. Like leaving a fart in a lift. Having to deal with the toxins of your freaking methane gas. That is what I'm going to do. I am going to pray that the Lord takes my whole family out of South Africa. That is what I'm praying for. I'm going to seek the Lord's face to take my mom, my little sister, my older sister, and me out of this nation. So pila somewhere else so they can sober up. Because right now, because who in the world is not crazy when all they do all day long is inhale the toxins of this country? If my mother repents, it's literally her alone. And the only reason she's doing that is because she's living with a prophet in her own house. She's living with a woman that serves the Lord. The rest of y'all, this country is going to sink in the worst way. And when it does, like far, I will be far. Do you understand? When this nation sinks, I will be far. My largest recommendations are for Europe, frankly. Because it looks like it'll be the last country that is going to be destroyed on the face of the earth. It looks like the United Kingdom is the last superpower that's going to be standing before the destruction of all the superpowers, next to China. Russia is going to be decimated. The Gog and Magog, whatever. Russia's going down. America's going down. Canada, Australia, they're going down. China likely will stand erect. But I don't want to be in China. So the UK is literally the only place that is safe for any Christian at all if they're going to look at Bible prophecy, where they will be safest for the longest, where the insanity will creep up on people slower. That is the safest place I can go, where it is that my family are guaranteed an ability to recover from their satanic explosion. I don't know what it's going to take from a mom to come around. I don't know what it's going to take for my sister to come around and realize that we need to start to plan to move the whole family to the United Kingdom. We gotta leave South Africa. Uguti, when this ship sinks and the tectonic plate starts to hook up an earthquake that's going to crack South Africa off from Africa and throw it into the ocean and drown it. When the fire and brimstone lands on Sodom over this nation, me and my household gotta be far away. May the Lord bless me by taking me away from South Africa with my family, that I may not be alone, isolated, and sorrowful. But as for you, South Africa, you hated me enough to make my mother bury me alive. She is a sinner. She is ridiculous in and of herself. She has destroyed my life, and she has attempted to pull hairs out of my head. But you have literally put my mother in a position to murder, human sacrifice her own child, because you are so satanic. The woman is in and out of darkness. She doesn't know what to do with herself. She is literally ambivalent. o tshwaranele ditshila mara ka mo o batla nnete o batla kgotso o batla peace mara ga ga o no e thola because the country is so satanic, it is so filthy, and there was so much darkness on the ground that akakwazi ukuphefumula kahle. Urepenta for 5 seconds and then she's back into wickedness again. She keeps on dipping her fingers into the cookie jar all over again, and she frustrates me in so doing. Ngiyamthandazela kodwa lamadimoni ayamsahlela futhi. Light and dark, lightning strikes in the middle of like sun shining at the same time. So much spiritual war, nothing at all will give. And the only thing that is feasible in this country is for South Africans to be snatched out who do want to finally live at peace. They have to get out and leave the nation to sink with its filthy president that is out here refusing to let his pride down, let his pride go, because he is busy gathering with Mr. Gog in secret society meetings, and satanically they have had like done blood covenants where he can't even wake up and realize that this is not the kind of alliance that you will, pontificate or proliferate when obviously somebody's busy committing war crimes. Cyril Ramaphosa must be left with the froggy spirits in his mouth and the froggy spirits in his heart to sink South Africa on his own. But as for the saints you keep on persecuting, my goodness, may they thrive and prosper to rescue their families alone and get out. May the saints of the living God prosper to save their family members alone so they won't have to mourn, wail, weep, cry, and gnash their teeth from afar when they watch this country sink. My prayer is that every persecuted Christian in this country will prosper to save just their families and for the Lord to bring a helicopter and take just them out. May this be like the flood of Noah. May every saint in this country leave with nothing but the clothing on their back and their family members and get out and do not look back at Sodom while the Lord rains fire and brimstone on this filthy nation. Let it die. Pelilengani, South Africa. You are ridiculous, you're stupid, and you persecute the church. You need to be left. This is my prayer, that God will extract Christians and their unrepentant, rebellious families out from South Africa, that these people may find restoration elsewhere where they will be given peace to truly repent. Because right now, my mother's salvation is on the line. Do you understand? She cannot choose Christ. Akakwazi. Ngoba the moment she wants to do something sober, from the darkness, she gets yanked back down by a filthy country that won't stop with its witchcraft. So may the Lord grant my family exit out of this nation that I might rescue them and watch you fall, Sodom, from a distance. Just like it.
Voice to that call, and he simply won't, which leaves to. And Ambassador, let me take this interview to the nub of part of what you do as the representative of Ukraine in South Africa. There's a story I'm sure you will have seen on the Sunday Times that basically says President Cyril Ramaphosa is unhappy with the statement from a few days ago from our Department of International Relations and Cooperation, which included the call for Russia to withdraw its forces from Ukraine. And we've tried, I think, twice through our Siphamandla Goge to get the president to put voice to that call, and he simply won't, which leaves to the audiences that we are broadcasting to interpret what that means, whether the president is on board or.
Did you hear what this guy said? I will repeat it for you in layman's terms just slightly, as I've already done that. The Department of International Relations and whatnot released a statement saying that we want, as South Africa, for Russia to retreat. The president will not come, and that call, he basically is unhappy with it, and when they want to interview him to understand what his side is, he won't even comment. So basically he's just standing afar back so that Vladimir Putin won't catch him, basically going back on their little satanic deal. Listen once more.
Ukraine, and we've tried, I think, for Russia, Department of International Relations, happy with seen on the Sunday as the representative. Ambassador, let me take this interview to the nub of part of what you do as the representative of Ukraine in South Africa. There's a story I'm sure you will have seen on the Sunday Times that basically says President Cyril Ramaphosa is unhappy with the statement from a few days ago from our Department of International Relations and Cooperation, which included the call for Russia to withdraw its forces from Ukraine. And we've tried, I think, twice through our Siphamandla Goge to get the president to put voice to that call, and he simply won't, which leaves to the audiences.
So basically, Cyril Ramaphosa, a call has been made in the country for Russian troops to retreat. And he does not want to validate it. He doesn't want to ratify it. He doesn't want to stand by it. He's just standing back. And you will listen to his interview now and hear exactly that. He's speaking about mediation, and he's trying to make what happened in the days of apartheid, where it is that we gave amnesty to our captors to get away with murder, rather than them retreat and extract themselves from destroying this country and us move forward with our nation as a sovereign the way that it was. He's basically saying that Russia needs to do with Ukraine what happens in the days of apartheid. He is basically saying that Russia needs to employ some kind of apartheid in Ukraine, and then negotiations be done from there to allow certain Russians and officials and Russia to take pieces of a country they stole by force. Just like what happened with the negotiations to apartheid, where it is that some of the people of the old white government got away with wide sweeping crimes against humanity, and got pieces, chunks, huge ones of that, of the country, in spite of the fact that they were supposed to be retributed to South Africans who suffered very severely under apartheid. He's basically calling for the same solution that we had under apartheid to be that of Russia and Ukraine, where Russia would be the tantamount of the apartheid regime, and Ukraine would be the tantamount of the oppressed blacks, coloreds, Indians, and everybody else that basically did not benefit from white supremacy. He flat out just said that. You're going to hear it in an interview just now. It's
From a few days ago from our Department of International is a story of
the end. I hope till the end.
Ambassador, let me take this interview to the nub of part of what you do as the representative of Ukraine in South Africa. There's a story I'm sure you would have seen on the Sunday Times that basically says President Cyril Ramaphosa is unhappy with the statement from a few days ago from our Department of International Relations and Cooperation, which included the call for Russia to withdraw its forces.
He's just like his father, Nelson Mandela, like his forefather. He is literally trying to foster the same thing that happened in Apartheid, the way Mandela, like I told you, that we are under whatever Mandela did. They will keep doing this until kingdom come. In the absence of Christians extracting themselves out of a country that has been cursed by a Freemason, there is no living, there is no surviving. It's forever going to be coercive and standing with enemies and letting them get away with murder. That's just what this country does.
With the statement from a few days after Ukraine in South Africa. There's a story of part of what you do as the representative of Ukraine in South Africa. There's a story I'm sure you would have seen on the Sunday Times that basically says President Cyril Ramaphosa is unhappy with the statement from a few days ago from our Department of International Relations and Cooperation, which included the call for Russia to withdraw its forces from Ukraine. We've tried, I think, twice through our Siphamandla Goke to get the president to put voice to that call, and he simply won't, which leaves to the audiences that we are broadcasting to interpret what that means, whether the president is on board or not with that call. But certainly the issue of diplomacy and mediation is being emphasized by both the president and DIRCO. Before I ask you the question, may you please listen to the president ask that question again by Siphamandla Goke this afternoon.
We've made our position very clear. War, in our view, is devastating to everyone, to ordinary people, to the country where war is being raging, and we have called for mediation. We believe that this conflict needs to be mediated, and there needs to be proper and positive engagement on this conflict. And we've called upon the UN Security Council to immediately engage on finding ways of mediation and even find outstanding mediators who will be able to engage with the leaders of the various countries that are affected by this. Mediation, in our view, is the best way. We were able to engage with our enemies, and we found a solution to what was regarded as an intractable problem in the world, bringing apartheid to an end.
So, Ambassador,
like in your freaking face, he just basically said, give Russia a piece of the land and then the rest of Ukraine will live properly. He might as well have said it in as many words. He not even once said, retreat, break away, condemned what Russia's doing. He just basically said, negotiate with them. I've gone to the UN Security Council to tell them, you all need to help Russia get what they want out of these people. He's basically imploring the world to accept that a war criminal must be sat down next to, at a table or across, and be given a portion of the property he came to steal.
I believe there'll be any confusion around South Africa's call for mediation. But are you any clearer whether there's equivocation on the part that says South Africa calls on Russia to withdraw its forces from Ukraine?
We all read the statement of DIRCO, which I believe the official position of the government of South Africa. I will not allow myself to comment on the words of the newspaper that quoted the president saying he was happy or unhappy, because I think that the position that DIRCO announced was absolutely clear. The call for mediation from...
Did you hear what she said? So the party that said that Russia must retreat, she's like, that's who we stand with. But I'm not going to comment on what the president said or didn't say or what the newspapers reported here say. She's trying to be politically correct to make it clear that President Cyril Ramaphosa is disappointing us. But as the Ukrainian ambassador in South Africa, or the representative of Ukraine in South Africa, I choose to believe that the president is far bigger than that and far better than that. As a Ukrainian, of course, I want these randos to get out of my country. But I mean, I got to be politically correct or I might just lose my job. So I'm going to stand with what DIRCO said, not what Cyril Ramaphosa said. Because I don't know what he said. I just hope he's not saying what I think he might be. She's trying to be politically correct.
Such a country as South Africa is absolutely proven by the effect of a long history of South Africa being a very successful mediator. And not only as South Africa, but His Excellency Cyril Ramaphosa himself is a very respected mediator. So I strongly believe that his initiative would become a really very efficient proposal and initiative, if that would be the case. The appeal of His Excellency, the President of South Africa, to the United Nations Security Council, obviously it's something that we were doing and been doing through all the story of the conflict since 2014, when we were trying to keep this in the framework of diplomatic solution. And we were calling on every meeting of United Nations General Assembly that the situation is escalating, that this is something that all the world must watch, because today in the world we don't have local conflicts. We have something more global, which affects, as we spoke before, which affects not only one territory or one economy, it affects everyone, and at the end of the day, us simple people. So the appeal to the United Nations Security Council, I would argue here, if you allow me, that the Council can be efficient when on the board, as a permanent member of Council, you have a Russia with its veto right. Anything that unanimously all the members would decide and approve and support will be under veto of Russia. So we need still to negotiate, and it's a very important forum. Why? Because that forum shows to all the world real position and real democracy of each particular country, its strength, its leadership, and its readiness for leadership. We were very proud of Kenya with the statement that they did during the previous United Nations Security Council as representative of all African countries. If you didn't read it, I encourage you to do so.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a very strong statement from the ambassador from Kenya. Ambassador, just for the avoidance of any doubt on my part or confusion
Listen.
on my part, did I hear correctly that not only do you commend President Ramaphosa on his call for...
No, she did not commend President Ramaphosa. She commended DECO. And it's basically saying he better not be saying what he's saying. However, take note of the fact that his call for mediation with the UN Security Council has been something that has been going on since 2014, basically ever since the conflict started. So he's not saying anything new. He's not breaking any, news to us. This is something that everybody has been calling for all along. So he's just basically parroting what everybody else is saying. That does not make him somebody that's taking an official stand against Russia. It just makes him somebody that has been saying the same thing all along, and he won't change his statement. So he might as well have rocked up on television and said no comment about what Russia has actually done. Russia, we have been trying to negotiate through the UN Security Council for mediation all these years. And now that it's invaded, what do you have to say? All that I've been saying all along, beyond that, no comment. That's basically what Cyril Ramaphosa has said. And this guy is trying to twist the words and say, you've commended our president, right? No, I've just said that I commend and I stand with what DECO has said. And I don't know if the president has said what he said in the Sunday Times, but I won't comment on that. I'm just going to be super politically correct. But let's just highlight the fact that Cyril Ramaphosa has been saying ever since 2014 that the United Nations Security Council must intervene or mediate this particular matter. So he's not saying anything different from what he said back then. So I'm not really commending him for doing anything new. He hasn't done anything radical. He hasn't actually supported Ukraine in this season. He has just basically spoken the very same things that he's been speaking all these years, making like a little parrot, a repetitive no-brainer that has been saying the same thing, no comment, no comment, no comment, because him and Vlad probably sat in some pentagram doing a little seance that would stand for their countries, and that little deal they did at the back of doors closed is now slapping the world and slapping South Africa. We don't know about it, except we are hearing a president that sounds like he's saying something new, that sounds like he's saying something responsible. We are just listening to him and being like, Cyril Ramaphosa is doing what we like. Cyril Ramaphosa is doing what we like. I mean, after all, he is saying that the UN Security Council must intervene. So what everybody else is saying, right? So yeah, he's saying the right thing. No, he's been saying it. They've been saying it. Everybody has been saying it. He hasn't done anything different. He hasn't changed his statement in any radical way. He has not made a fundamental change in policy because of the irresponsibility of Russia in this season, like what it is, for instance, that Germany did. He's just still a big fat chunky sinner that's standing with a bully on the school playground and will not comment when the bully goes in for the punch, finally.
mediation, are you suggesting that there's a role for him to play in doubt on my part or confusion on my part? Did I hear correctly that not only do you commend President Ramaphosa on his call for mediation, are you suggesting that there's a role for him to play in that mediation?
I believe so. Moreover, I wish I could discuss this with His Excellency, and we made appropriate request to the presidency for the special meeting with myself being representative of the government of Ukraine. So if I do have such an opportunity, I definitely will speak about this option. Sorry.
Do you believe he would have the ear of the main protagonists being Vladimir Putin and President Zelensky?
I don't doubt in the President Zelensky position, because we will accept any help in mediation that can influence aggressor. From the South African side, I believe that that's your government that is saying about the importance of BRICS and equality in this organization, and then you have strategic partnership with Russian Federation, which is very important. It's a strategic thing. So I hope that the president of Russia, if he is still in his healthy mind, he would avoid speaking to his strategic partner and to listen to his advice.
Ambassador, the other issue that I wanted to...
So he's just basically said, look, if Cyril Ramaphosa is happy to use his alliances with Russia thanks to BRICS, with Russia, it's your relationship, you've had it for a minute, do you, whatever. But if the president of Russia is still sober and does not suffer from psychosis, which everybody in the world just so happens to believe is not a thing, he's frankly right now kind of schizophrenic, bipolar, whatever might be the thing you want to accuse him of, yeah. If he is not really going out like that and he's actually somebody you can talk to and he's of sound mind, and your president is happy to, bring our president with that president into the picture using his relationship with Vladimir Putin thanks to the strategic alliance that they have under BRICS. If at all, Putin will then listen to your president to pretty much mediate with us and not break us into pieces and shatter us, then yeah, by all means, I agree. South Africa could help. So basically she's saying that Vladimir Putin has to be sober, and South Africa as well needs to understand the imperativeness of the insanity of Putin in this particular instance. He's crazy. But Cyril Ramaphosa doesn't happen to think that he's crazy. He happens to think that this is a guy that's just going to grab his booty, is a guy that's going to grab his plunder, and he's well entitled to it. So essentially, Putin and Ramaphosa are loco. They're bonkers each. But she's got to be, like, what do they call this? Politically correct.
And to listen to his advice.
Ambassador, the other issue that I wanted to tease at, and thank you for your views, by the way, on this mediation suggestion and proposal by President Ramaphosa. And the other issue has to do with South Africans.
She wants to comment, but she can't. I wanted you to see this. She's like, thanks for your words on agreeing that Ramaphosa should mediate. And she tries to correct him on some, hey, look, it is literally like, okay, and then he just like overwhelms her altogether. And then the rest of the interview happens, and there's no need for you to listen to the rest because they're just talking about other things and students struggling to get out from Guinea, Russia, and blah, blah, blah. But this is up to where I wanted you to hear.
and to listen to his advice.
Look at the reaction.
Ambassador, the other issue that I wanted to tease at, and thank you for your views, by the way, on this mediation suggestion and proposal by President Ramaphosa.
That this mediation suggestion and proposal by President Ramaphosa. And then watch her reaction.
Ambassador, the other issue that I wanted to tease at, and thank you for your views, by the way, on this mediation suggestion and proposal by President Ramaphosa. And the other issue has to do with South Africans who are trying to exit Ukraine.
She was stopped from basically correcting where, like, what in the world is no. That's not what I said. No. But couldn't get a word in. But for South Africa, I really pray that the Lord will extract saints out of your land because you don't want them. I think this is it for the rest of the day. I'm not going to be doing anything I have to do.